Welcome to the Cloudera Director Test Drive on Azure Marketplace. Cloudera is an open source distribution that provides a flexible, integrated platform for managing rapidly increasing volume and varieties of data in your enterprise. This test drive will run a word count app in Cloudera on a data file with text, create a table from the output, and then use Hue and Impala services to process and view the data. Once the test drive deploys, you will receive an email with all the necessary access information, such as URLs and login information. Keep this information close while continuing with the test drive. First, access the Cloudera backend cluster. Using an SSH tool such as PuTTY, log into the Cloudera Director FQDN address provided in the test drive info. From within PuTTY, go to Connections, SSH, Tunnels. There, enter the source port as 1080, check the dynamic box, then click Add. Then, click Open to connect to the virtual machine. Once you are connected to the virtual machine, log into the Cloudera Director VM using the Director username and Director password provided in the test drive access information. Open the node details file using the command cat node details. This will show the Cloudera backend cluster details required for this test drive. Make sure to copy these details down into a notepad file and save them for later, as they'll be used throughout the test drive. For security purposes, Cloudera recommends that you connect to your cluster using a SOCKS proxy, which changes your browser to perform lookups directly from your Azure network and connect to services with private IP addresses. To turn the Linux machine into a SOCKS proxy, run the command shown in the user manual. When asked if you want to continue, type yes, and then hit Enter. You'll then be prompted to enter the Director password again. Follow the steps in the user manual for your preferred web browser. Open your web browser settings and navigate to the Advanced settings. Search for Network settings, and then open any settings you find for proxy. You will want to enable your browser to use a proxy, with localhost for the address and 1080 for the port. Again, follow the steps in the user manual for your preferred web browser to proceed. After deploying the cluster, you can manage it using Cloudera Manager. Using a web browser, go to the Cloudera Director access URL provided in the access information. Then, log in with the CD Web UI username and password, also provided in the access info. Accept the terms and conditions, and then click Continue. The Cloudera Director should open. Click on Cloudera Manager on the dashboard. From here, copy the Cloudera Manager host address and the port shown in the top right of the screen and paste it into a new browser tab. On the new login screen that comes up, use the CM Web UI username and password provided in the access info to log in. In Cloudera Manager, click HDFS-1 located on the left side of the screen. Then click the blue icon, which looks like a piece of paper with an arrow. This takes you to the Stale Configurations menu. Then click Restart Stale Services. It will ask you to confirm, and then click Restart Now. This may take some time, but please wait until all services have restarted, then click Finish. You should now have Cloudera Director ready with Cloudera Manager and the cluster. Next, we'll be using Hue, a set of web apps that allow you to perform a wide variety of functions with a Cloudera Director cluster. Copy the Hue URL from the node details and paste it into a web browser window. This will open the Hue console. Create a Hue account and log in with the Cloudera Hue Web UI username and password provided in the node details you copied down earlier. On the Hue dashboard, click on HDFS Browser, which is the new file icon located in the top right corner of the page. Once here, open the inputfile.txt URL provided in the test drive user guide. That should open a page with some text. Copy its contents into a text file and make sure you save it as a .txt file on your local machine. Name it whatever you like. Next, go back to the web page and click the Upload button, then upload that TXT file. The name of the file does not matter. The Apache Spark application will now use this data as input and provide that output to ADLS. Next, you'll want to run Apache Spark, an app for in-memory data processing on the Hadoop platform. To log into the master virtual machine, type the following command provided in the user manual. Copying and pasting this might not work, so be sure to type it out fully. SSH-I, SSH key for Azure VM, Cloudera @ and then type the master node private IP address from the node details. Next, download the script file in the terminal window using the link in the test drive user guide. It contains the Spark app word count. This counts the number of occurrences of each letter in words that have more characters than a given threshold. Next, install dos2 Unix by running the following command: sudo yum install -y dos2 Unix. To give permissions to the Cloudera Spark setup.sh file, run the following commands provided in the user manual. First the command starting with dos2 Unix, then the command starting with chmod. Then, execute the file with the Cloudera Spark setup.sh command, provided in the user manual, and then follow the steps in the user manual to replace the necessary items in that command with the values you saved from the node details at the beginning of this test drive. Once you've entered that command and it's processed, the data has now been stored in ADLS using Spark. Next, we'll be using Apache Hive. Hive is a data warehouse software that provides data summarization, query, and analysis through a SQL-like interface. On the Hue UI, click Query Editors, then select Hive. Then, in the default database, execute the Create External Table query, as shown in the user manual. You can then view this table by inputting the query select * from, and then adding the table name. The table name can be whatever you choose. Lastly, we'll be using Apache Impala. Since it doesn't work with ADLS, the output must be copied to HDFS. In PuTTY, run the Hadoop fs command from the user manual. To verify the copied data, go to the HDFS browser in the Hue Web UI, as shown. Next, click on the query editors in the top left again, but this time select Impala. In the default database, execute the query invalidate metadata, all caps. This will sync the data from Hive to Impala. Create an Impala table in the default database and run a query from Hue against Impala by using the command provided in the user manual. Finally, view the table with the query select * from and then the table name. Again, the table name can be whatever you choose. You have now successfully run the Impala query using Hue. Thank you for taking the Cloudera Director test drive. For more information on this or any other test drive, check out the Azure Marketplace.